As an investor, note we are 90% to sale. R&D all done. Short runway to the sales. So Kevin Deacon, founder and CEO. I actually have to look at my email. An original investor is Peter Fitten. Check him out. I have the LinkedIn profile on my site. Anything more? Yeah. They're basically raising 1 million. So if you have an interest, you can reach out to me or right away to Patrice, whose details I actually have on my site. That's it. Games for Change Accelerator. Margaret is the GM over there, and I know Margaret for a very long time. And lots of experience in the gaming space, and I think it sounds like she found a perfect fit. If anyone could do this, I know it's Margaret. So let's get started. Obviously, we all want to know what is Games for Change Accelerator. It's headquartered in New York City, and it supports growth-driven companies working in the games and XR. They differentiate themselves from other accelerators through their unique focus on games, as opposed to tech in general, as they say. And on the double bottom line, revenue and social impact. Games for Change Accelerator provides these best and brightest teams initial funding, high-level industry coaching, go-to-market planning, and opportunities for strategic partnerships through its extensive network. They accept 10 to 12 companies a year. And anything more I wanted to say on this? Oh yeah, it was established through a partnership between investments and Games for Change. So it was IX Investments and Games for Change. IX Investments is a permanently capitalized holding company co-founded by Howard Buffett and Trevor Nielsen. Since 2004, Games for Change has been a leader in advocating for real change with games. For real world change with games, it is. And they have a festival. Guess what? Games for Change Festival. So I wanted to know a bit more about Margaret and what she's doing at Games for Change. But first of all, she said, Susanna Pollack is a president and also managing partner. Margaret is the general manager. Together, they manage all aspects of the accelerator in collaboration with a wider accelerator partnership, advisors and mentors. Margaret utilizes her experience in the gaming industry as a founder, developer, and executive to discover and mentor companies accepted into the program. She's responsible for designing the CVs and for the day-to-day operations of the accelerator. So how long is Games for Change Accelerating existing? It was actually established in 2019. About the vision. To help founders who are on a mission to drive positive impact in the world through games and XR to create enduring companies. I actually did read intersection of games, XR, and social impact. I wanted to know what it means. Their answer: the rapid growth and impact of the global gaming industry is enormous. Games are now the most pervasive form of entertainment worldwide. Games and XR are drivers of innovation in many sectors and are well suited to address critical global challenges, whether around climate change, education, healthcare, training, to name a few. We invest in companies that have a high potential for success, both financially and in terms of making the world a better place. I really like that, Margaret. What about the ticket sizes? Well, obviously they are a true accelerator and profit-driven. Teams are accepted into the cohort I'm completely going wrong here. Teams accepted into the cohort have products that are ready to be accelerated. That means these companies have established product market fit and already generating revenues. For companies that are accepted into the program, they receive an initial investment of $100,000 with a potential follow-up investment of an additional $350,000. Obviously, if you want to know more, I got all the details on my site. Anything more I wanted to address? Well, Margaret, as said, I think you're well suited to be in this accelerator. And most of all, I appreciate you doing this. Latin America and Gaming. I did ask Carlos to give me some insights, and his first comment was, you can do a whole podcast around LATAM. Thank you. That's not going to happen, but at least you give me lots and lots of things that I can share with the audience today. Carlos is a business development consultant, and actually he's the GM of LATAM Lockwood Publishing, African Life, which I actually did address as a company to watch. That was actually the second episode, if I'm right. So let's start with some gaming companies that we should have on our radar. Let me see, mobile. Gazus in Brazil, Wildlife Games Brazil, Taps Brazil, Vanity Brazil, and Etamax Brazil. I guess Brazil is doing pretty well, right, Carlos? LiveOps, External Development, Octagon, and, if I say it right, Koku. Original IPs, he is mentioning Gem City in Colombia, Nimble Giant, Argentina, Aquarius, Brazil, Rockhead in Brazil, Ironhide in Uruguay, Tiny Bytes in Chile, TerraVision, Colombia, and Effecto in Colombia. Interesting. So now we already have some names of companies that you should watch. Obviously, it's on my site. And if you would like to know more, you can connect with Carlos himself. About the number of people in Latin America, around 650 million people. And there comes the answer. 205 million in Brazil only. I guess that's counting for all the game companies he was mentioning on mobile. And how many people are playing games? Okay. One thing to notice is that the population is very young. So the percentage of gamer is higher than in other territories, around 234 million. So bottom line, it comes to 36% of the population that will play games. And he put his source to it, Lionbridge. I'll put the link on my site. How are the mobile subscriptions of operators? And that was me assuming also that they work like, for example, in India, where I was told that the prices of the monthly subscriptions are going down. I wanted to know how that is in LATAM. Subscription model was popular in the old brew days. The carriers are now starting to test again using partners such as Bmobi, but it's still not as popular as it was 10 years ago. Lots of opportunities to explore in this field. Okay, I need to dive into that also a little bit deeper. Payment options in different kind of territories. It's still a struggle in certain countries to monetize. Is free-to-play doable? Can people pay with credit card, Google, Apple? What is the mostly used for payments? Totally, Google Play and App Stores are the main options for sure, but some games are setting up their own payment portals that cover other payment methods such as bank slips, direct transfers, or gift cards sold at local stores. Since the advent of subscription services such as Netflix and Spotify, it seems the local culture has changed from piracy to I'm having fun, why not spend? Nicely said. And the in-app purchase-based games are starting to make a very decent amount of money in countries like Brazil and Mexico, which is why so many publishers are now setting up operations there. Let me see, what do we have more? Are there any interesting early-stage investors or firms in LATAM? Some local VC firms that invested in game studios. Holy Christ, those are difficult names. Confrapar invested in Octacon. Confrapar. CRP invested in Aquarius, if I say it right. FINEP is a government, invested in Koku. And Primatech invested in Rockhead. Again, I'll put this all on my site. Gaming events, you need them, so also LATAM. Big festival, July, B2B and B2C. Best event to meet with developers. Game XP, also July, focused on B2C and esports. BGS, October, focused on B2C. And Comic-Con XP, December, focused on B2C and pop culture. The top 3 in terms of players and revenues. Guess what? Brazil, Mexico and Colombia. And then obviously my question for anything you would like to add. And Carlos had something. The esports scene is growing very fast in Brazil. It's definitely a market to be keeping a close eye on. If anybody wants to talk about opportunity or opportunities here, feel free to tell them and send me a message on LinkedIn. And that's exactly what I will facilitate, Carlos. If anyone wants to know a little bit more about LATAM or wants to do business, I think Carlos is the right person to start talking to. Carlos, thank you. Companies on my watch list. Today I have Games to Win, Lightneer, and GamerSafer. And let me start with the last one. Rodrigo actually was introduced via a contact of me, and we got to talk a bit about his model, what he's trying to do. And then I basically said, I find it really triggering. Can you tell me a bit more so I can tell the people through my podcast? GamerSafer is a cybersecurity platform helping online games protect their players and community. With a selfie during the logon or login process, we verify and authenticate gamer digital ID, improving players' matching systems to minimize disruptive behaviors, frauds, and online crimes. The company was founded 1 year ago. They were accelerated inside UC Berkeley, listed on Forbes among the top 5 university accelerators in the world. The beta SW of our platform was released in December 2019. Our major objectives in 2020 is to evolve with pilots and trials with gaming platforms, targeting titles on the MMO segment. Raising the safety measures for players is not just the right thing to do. The problems we address compromise user engagement, leading to churn. On top of that, there is an evolving regulatory perspective requiring more proactive safety measures from online platforms. Thank you, Rodrigo, to answer my question. So everyone, GamerSafer. I think they're addressing something definitely on the churn side.